in this attention economy, I love that you brought that up, because I think it's one of the things that we're not paying enough attention to. That's what the industry wants us to not be paying attention, is educational technology. EdTech in concept sounds great. It sounds just like the right kind of thing to prepare you for an increasingly tech-driven world. But it does not make sense to me at all. It sounds like an oxymoron to me for kids. Their frontal lobes are still developing. I don't think giving them more screen time in the name of education is the right thing to do. I think it's going to hinder their education and development than actually help. What do you think?
Well, I think the role of technology in education is inevitable, to be honest with you. And, I think it's been going that way for some time. I know my kids have had devices, and schools will proudly tell you they're like an Apple accredited school, and, everyone has to have a certain number of devices, and everything is virtual. In that all learning materials now seem to be all uploaded to Teams, and it's all very efficient and effective. When I think about the opportunities or the possibilities of then connecting that education globally to more remote parts of the world and extending kind of high-end education into less developed parts of maybe Africa or Asia or wherever, that's a really powerful proposition. But when I think about more traditional learning, I do worry about my kids, and often I'm there. My son's sitting his GCSEs in the summer. It's a big important kind of milestone from an educational point of view as you turn sort of 16, 17. All of his materials are online, and I always have this issue of kind of like, but, what point are you marking that up or looking at reading that through and absorbing it? To what degree is something on screen really get fully kind of embedded and absorbed? But, beyond that, as you say, the screen engagement is, obviously it's immersive and interactive, fantastic, but is it the right way for them to be, for all people to be consuming all content from an educational point of view? I don't know. I mean, there's all sorts of exciting opportunities within kind of metaversal AR learning. And, when you think about it in a kind of more advanced sort of secondary, tertiary education point of view, the ability to see, to almost participate in kind of medical procedures, or, I don't know, even mechanical kind of engineering procedures or scientific experiments, but to do so somewhat virtually is really interesting. And again, you're getting to almost interact without, having a patient or a victim. It's that's fascinating development. But when you move to a more traditional screen-based scenario, I'm not sure that's so compelling for all forms of learner. And again, as these tech bros get their hooks into even more of our world today and in future, that sort of Apple accredited thing is only going to become more common. What are your thoughts?
The one laptop per child experiment failed. I mean, you can argue that mobile phones are mini versions of laptops, and I don't know that it has actually helped any of the kids learn a lot better and faster than they would. And ultimately, I mean, I get the tech first mindset of the metaverse and virtual, readings and whatnot. But these are people who are still going to exist in the human world. They're going to live in a physical world, and if they cease to exist as a whole human being outside of their virtual environment, which is where most of their learning happens, then they also run the risk of not knowing how to exist as adults outside of that virtual environment. And I think, this virtual environment clearly benefits the companies that they're going to work for. But after that 9 to 5 is over, what then? What happens to these people who have spent most of their time on a screen, and then 5 to 9, they don't know what to do with themselves? So I think there are some inherent dangers. There are some good points there as well. I mean, I feel like EdTech should have some guardrails in place where adults are the ones these are catered to, and how they engage and when they engage, and what context they engage. It should be things that are explored and developed with that regard. But that is all great stuff that we're gonna bring for you. Join us in our next episode, and let us know if you have some thoughts.
It's hard for us to really know exactly where EdTech should land and how it should manifest. I mean, I think it is a dynamic that we're going to have to embrace. It definitely needs controls around it. But the opportunity also is huge. You think about educating the world as one. That's a really powerful concept, and technology will absolutely help us do that. And it's a question of just how that unfolds. So look forward to talking about it more.